Welcome back to The Big Show. As everybody knows, I'm a huge fan of Eclairs. That's why I'm 27 stone. And my favourite Eclair is Jenny Eclair. Don't you think that's clever?
Oh, you big charmer. That was actually slightly greasy and oily. You might have to start again. How lovely. What a great introduction. Hello, Alex.
What I like about you is you find yourself funny and enjoy being funny. You're not wrapped up in this negativity that so many comedians are. They love the applause, but then they come off and they're a manic depressive. You've never seen that kind of person.
Oh, I can do that. I can turn. No, I like to think I have a dark side. I think all comics do. I mean, it's ego, isn't it? And I think that most comics are hypercritical. So you're your own worst critic. So if you think you've sort of not done quite as well, there's a comedian's tendency to come off and beat yourself up, metaphorically. Secretly, I think I'm quite lucky to be working. You know, it's not easy at the moment. It's not busy out there. So to be doing a show that's getting bums on seats and selling out is a huge relief. If there's a sort of whining noise in the background, it's not me. It's there's some plumbing going on, and I think they're sound checking some stuff for the show upstairs as well. So
I think it's the sauna kicking in again, because I feel a blow of steam towards me. I don't know what it is down here.
It's stupidly hot. I'm sitting here in my bra and pants, but he's trying not to flinch.
What also seems interesting about your style of comedy, you're not one of these bitter and twisted, angry women.
Oh, I am. I just cover it well. Nobody really wants to hear you bleat on about the fact that, you know, there are more middle-aged men doing travel programmes than women. That's not actually very appealing. It isn't particularly easy being a woman ageing in this business, but there is an audience out there, and they are people who buy theatre tickets. So it's not actually as horrible as... I mean, I think that television isn't particularly kind to women of a certain age, but then I've never had a television career, so I've never had to rely on that. I've never been dumped from television, because television never took me on in the first place, particularly. You know, I've had my moments, but I've never had a regular job, so I've never lost a job.
But you're a very popular TV guest when we see you on things like Loose Women, and that would be a natural home for you if you wanted to do it. But is it too nice for you to do that programme day in, day out?
I would get sacked. I would say something unfortunate within 48 hours, and I'd just push it too far, because as soon as something gets safe and cosy, then I couldn't behave myself. I've always got a bit of sort of wee-wee poo-poo. It has to come out. You know, I cannot believe the discipline of sofa people that don't, for example, you know, if I was interviewing someone who was ridiculous, I can't believe it, how polite hosts remain, where you just I'd go, you know what, you're a mental basket case, you've got a real problem. And you know, people don't really take to that.
When did that happen? At what point did you wake up one morning and find that you were looking at things differently and not just following the mainstream line of, oh, everything's nice?
Well, nothing is nice, and most people are idiots. And that's how I wake up feeling, you know. I wake up most days feeling quite optimistic, and then by lunchtime I'm quite cross. So I kind of gear myself up into a bad mood. You know, life is one disappointment after another. No, that's not entirely true. But I think that, you know, life has got a habit of just when everything is going quite well, of tripping you up and you falling completely on your face. And a lot of people feel that as well. So really you're just reflecting what people feel. And a lot of women, you know, in their 50s, late 40s, early 50s, and beyond, and some younger as well, feel that. They think, you know, this wasn't quite what I ordered. There's a lot of comedy and cruelty.
Is there a line then where you go from being funny and sarcastic and acerbic to just being a bore that's whinging all the time?
Yes. And you've got to have funny bones to be able to do it. You can be incredibly rude if people know who you are and accept that what you're saying is funny. And I know I do sometimes teeter over into territory, so I do have to watch it. And my daughter, I've got a 20-year-old, and she did say to me recently, she said, you know, Mum, people that don't know who you are might think that you are just a very rude woman. And I cried because I was embarrassed. And I knew she was right, you see, so I've gone a bit hot now. Yeah, I do know that I can be vile, because I do tend to sort of be rather imperious and sort of go in and start not banging my fist, but demanding. I heard myself doing it yesterday, and I thought, oh God, here I go again. But I can't bother with things being done wrong. wrongly. I think the thing is some people can't stand my guts, and it's as simple as that. I mean, it's no point trying to gloss over it. The internet is a great reminder that there are a lot of people out there that would really rather I was drawing my last breath. And it's sometimes quite painful.
Do you really think that?
Yeah, I know that. I've looked at I Googled myself, it's that sort of thing you do after your third glass of red wine. And you think, that never ever do this again. And then again, one day you have another third glass of red wine, you find yourself in your study going, oh God, they really hate me. One woman complained on the website about the acoustics. She said that I had too much compression on my voice. And had I swallowed the microphone, or did I insist on being in front of everybody else in the cast in the edit? And I thought, what kind of maniac would I be to insist in being in front of everybody else?
But do you think she really cares? You see, in my experience of complaints, and I've had a lot of them as well, it's normally people with too much time on their hands that are just using you for that moment as a reason to vent their spleen and frustration at the world. They don't actually really care or really hate you.
Oh, some of them do. Oh, yes, they do. Because I really hate some people, so if I'm allowed to hate some people, other people are allowed to hate me. But it is an enormous graffiti board, isn't it, in the sky, the internet? I mean, it's worse than finding something scribbled on a toilet wall. It's there forever, including reviews, good ones, bad ones. For some reason, that's another. The comics self-abusive psyche will often, go back to the dreadful reviews, and those are the ones that echo in your head rather than the good ones.
Isn't that part of your paycheck now, though? That if you take the check and you do the job, then everybody has the right to write about you?
Yes, it is. Some criticism I will take on the chin, because I think that I did a stand-up tour a couple of years ago, and I went back before I was ready, and I was terribly, terribly rusty. And for the first 2 weeks, I was not match fit. I shouldn't have been asking people for money, and that is something that I really regret. That I wasn't able to spend more time playing smaller clubs. I was put out on a sort of big tour, and I was out of my depth for a couple of weeks.
So did you give the people the money back?
No. Nope. No, I didn't. I was never that bad. I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't, but I know that, you know yourself difference between a B+ and a B-.
It seems to me you have a far more negative opinion of yourself than everybody else, because I'm sure they still gave you a round of applause at the end of the night and went out smiling.
Yes, but a round of applause isn't... I would rather have a standing ovation. No. I know when a gig is flying, and I know when a gig is flying by the seat of its pants.
All right, let's do some business for you. Have you got a website? What are you up to? What can we promote for you?
Well, this grumpyoldwomenlive.com, which is a fabulous website. It's got merchandise and everything. Come along, buy a tea towel.
Are there any Jenny Eclair dolls or anything I can buy?
There are no Jenny Eclair dolls, but there are, as I say, we do have mugs and tea towels and aprons.
Does anybody actually buy those in a credit crunch?
Weirdly, the tea towel's very good value. You get two for £6. There's also a Grumpy Old Woman bag, which is only $3.99. That's good value. I think the t-shirts are a bit expensive, but don't say I said that. The programme is a bit expensive. I don't want anything to be expensive, but I'm not in charge of the profit margins. We are grumpy old women of a certain age. We are our audience, so we don't want them to be ripped off. That's not in the psyche of the show or us. So, It's
been lovely meeting you. I think you're lovely, and you're gorgeous, and you're funny, and you're everything I like. You've got great spirit. And don't be so down on yourself, because I think people think you're really funny and lovable and warm. I don't know whether you realise that.
Well, sometimes they do. I do know that I've always got my mother's voice in my head, which is, nobody's that interested. So, yeah, it's very nice, and it's lovely to see people coming back to see shows and all that kind of thing, and I am grateful for that, and because I'm grateful for that, I'm making sure they are getting a brand new show.
Thanks, Jenny.
Pleasure.